As the former governor of California, my home state, California's been in the headlines. Obviously, there have been these huge protests of President Trump's immigration policies. He threatened to potentially arrest Gavin Newsom if he didn't comply. If you were governor right now of California, how would you be handling the ongoing crisis that the state's facing?
Well, I think the most important thing is when you are in a leadership position like that, is that you are inclusive and that you work together with everybody. And so it means that you have to work together with local government, the state government, and the federal government. They have to work together rather than fighting each other. Fighting each other's agendas and all of that stuff. That doesn't do good to anybody. And so that's number one. Number two, the most important thing is to create immigration reform. Because all of this is happening because we don't have immigration reform. For decades now, this country has needed immigration reform, which means that we recognize the fact there's people in the south of America that want to come north to work.
Yeah, Arnold cooking.
And that we therefore should supply them with enough visas so they can come because we need those workers. So this is the bottom line, because then we would know who is here. We will be able to get rid of the criminal elements that are here and all of this stuff, so we wouldn't be in a mess that we're in right now. So this is my way of saying always, Democrats and Republicans have to come together and solve this issue if they really want to be public servants.
Hey, real quick, just to talk about that real quick. This is the thing when I listen to Democrats, or I don't know if I think Arnold is a Democrat, but I know he doesn't like Trump. But whenever they want to have this conversation about immigration and people crossing the border, they never want to put Biden's name on it. Biden was the one that let all these illegals through the border, said, hey, come on in, we'll figure it out later. No due process, no, paperwork. You would think with the party that was telling everybody to mask up and get vaxxed, they would be paying attention to the people coming into our country, where they are just essentially saying, hey, everyone, we're not going to check you for any diseases. We're not going to check you to see if you have any illnesses or sickness or if you're sick for anything. They just let everyone through. And they never put Biden's name on it. Biden's name, the Biden administration is attached to this. They let in over, 15 million illegals or however many it is. And then Trump comes in and then he shuts the border down. Didn't have to change the law or anything. He just had to follow the law. So that's what bothers me is when they have these conversations. Well, I'm not expecting the View to have it, but Arnold and all these other Democrats, they should definitely be, or these left-leanings, they should at least recognize, hey, Biden let these let these illegals in, and it's a mess that Biden created.
So I don't even know where to start with this. Let me start here. Neither party has a proper fix for immigration. Neither party.
Neither party?
Neither party. I got receipts. Trust me. I'm originally from Nebraska, right? There's a town in my home state called Fremont, Nebraska. I believe this was about 16 or 17 years ago. There was a meatpacking plant there. There was an ICE raid. They deported all of the illegals that were working there, and they are illegal. If you came into this country and it wasn't through an entry point and you didn't go through the process, you are here illegally. So the term illegal fits. They got them all out of here. They were paying them salaries under the table that were less than minimum wage. Now, do you know what happened to the price of bacon, sausage, and ham? Do you know what happened to those prices? They damn near tripled, and people started complaining. So it's not feasible. And then the other side, you talked about all of that. Joe Biden actually delegated this to Kamala because he wasn't managing it properly, and he wanted to deal with other things. And their solution is open borders and let everybody in. I personally know people that work for Border Patrol, and they have personally told me that the number of people on the terrorist watch list who not only from the southern border, but from the northern border have gotten into this country and have been later arrested has increased by at least tenfold over the last 4 years. So there's not really a fix in place that works for everybody. I would go back, if I were you, I would go back and I would watch on Valuetainment, the PBD podcast. Type in New Woke Pendejos. There is a Mexican gentleman there. He has a very powerful take on this. It's an emotional take for him, but at the end of the day, his ultimate take was you cannot come into somebody else's house and dictate how they run things. You cannot burn the U.S. flag and throw bricks and rocks at law enforcement officers and tout your Mexican flag, wanting to create change here. It doesn't work like that. You got to get in the system. You have to follow the laws, and that's how you. And then you get politically involved and push for change. So again, and I can play a video. I should have pulled it up, TR. It was basically a compilation video of a bunch of people from Mexico who were here saying, "Look, we don't even want to be here. We just want your money. We're taking your money. We're getting properties back home in Mexico, and when we're done doing what we're going to do, we're gone." So in my opinion, that's even worse because now you're profiting off, you're using U.S. resources, which could technically go to someone else, and building up your country with it. Like that's problematic for a lot of different reasons.
It's not making a good case for the people that do or that are coming over here that want to make a new life for themselves. And Arnold's going to definitely go into it a little bit. But yeah, those videos, I saw some of those. That's not helping their cases. So unfortunately for some of those folks, you know, I know they don't represent the entire group, but unfortunately they're representing you now. And unless you're calling that out, unless you're, you know, going to those people and saying like, hey, pull this video down and make it's a bad look for us. It's going to continue being it's going to continue being rough for a lot of them. But I definitely agree that, you know, there's probably not an easy fix because right now, I don't think any of those, I mean, I don't think they need to create any more laws. They just need to continue following the laws. But here's the thing. What happens when if the next president isn't a Republican, this could happen again. So gotta look forward.
But here's the thing, though. Immigration was one of the, and this is how I knew the Dems were cooked. Immigration was one of the top 3 issues that U.S. people cared about. And that was an issue where the Dems were taking L's back to back.
Yeah, I agree.
If they want to be party servants and be party hacks and be tied to their ideology, then it won't happen.
Yeah.
But if you want to make this country better, and if you want to improve this country and improve the situation of people's lives and bring the prices down and all of this, you will go and serve the people of America. This is what it is. If you're a public servant, that's what you're supposed to do.
But you know,
so that's what I would do if I'm governor.
yes. But you were governor already.
I
You can't do it again.
I'm not governor anymore.
But
I wonder
no,
what
but, you
his-
know, as an immigrant yourself,
Hold on.
you are an immigrant.
I wonder what his policies were. I don't know enough about. I forgot he was governor, but I wonder what his policies were on immigration at the time.
At the end of the day, TR, he was the governor of California. California politics is an entirely different beast, man. You cannot be anything but socially liberal in California, even if you're a Republican.
You're right.
You're an immigrant in this country.
Yeah.
Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine they came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
It's funny they went to whoopee
Because
on
I'm
that.
such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do on July 4th a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon, where George Washington was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that.
I don't know. I'm trying to get to a certain part.
7,000 people. It's really a great America. I think the word legal. That is the important thing.
Right here.
That we got to do things with immigrants in America, and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of a history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to
That's a
do
red
things
herring,
legal.
TR. Pause it
Those
for a
people that
second.
are doing illegal things.
Yo,
The whole argument that immigrants contributed a lot to the United States is a red herring. The reason why it's a red herring is we already know that. Nobody disputes that. When people make a statement like that, they're trying to redirect the conversation away from what the real
yeah,
issue is.
reframe.
The real issue is you cannot, a country should be able to control who comes in, period. It's not an open border. And some people think that this was your land at one point in time. Well, guess what? It's not now. It is what it is. Nobody is denying that immigrants contributed to the creation and the greatness of America. What's being denied is you can't come here on your own without following the protocols that have been established. And if you have a work visa and it expires, you can't stay here. You have to go through a process to become a citizen. You have to do it. Unavoidable.
Yeah, what's crazy is that there's plenty of immigrants that have gone through the process recently to become U.S. citizens, but for some reason they think these folks shouldn't be allowed. What Democrats are starting to push out for their talking points is that all these more Americans create. Well, I mean, I guess it's true just by the default, but more white. They say white men actually create more of the crime than illegals. I'm like, you guys are missing the point. Like, that's not even like the issue. You're letting illegals come into this country and first of all, they've committed multiple crimes just by entering this country illegally. So I don't know where we got to the point in our timeline where you can sneak into a country and it not be illegal. Try to do that over in China. Let's see what happens. Go do it in Canada and watch what happens. Like a lot of these people, you know, they want to go to these other countries. They think they can just walk in and do whatever they want, which we had some people from America walk over or fly over to Gaza, and they found out the hard way that Gaza ain't playing with Americans just doing these protests. Like, they ain't messing around. So, you know, people want to act like America, this isn't the land of the free. And like, yes, it is. You just got to act right. You just got to abide by the laws. First of all, you got to learn English. I mean, I think it's crazy that we don't have that as the national language. That should be the national language. I don't understand why, you know, we believe, or, you know, back, like, I want to say back in when Hillary was running for office, she was like, you have to learn English. You have to pay back taxes because you were skirting the system. I don't have a problem with that. I know that Democrats don't sit on that nowadays. But it's funny how they were pushing that less than 10 years ago, and now they want to act like oh, we don't got nothing to do with that. We just want to let everybody in. It's really messed up, though. Yeah, you mute.
I'm not going to post this, but I'll just tell you, go on YouTube and search anti-immigrant protesters in Mexico and watch how those people in Mexico turned up when people from Central American countries were illegally immigrating to Mexico. See how much they turned up when that happened. Like, what's the difference? Somebody tell me what the difference is.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this one thing. We didn't get a chance to cover this, but during the whole protests with the No King's Day or whatever, which a lot of stuff happened on the No King's Day. But the one thing that I find fascinating is that the woke coalition is like crumbling. So first of all, you had all these people that were against Trump, okay? And Trump wins the office, wins the election, and now these people are like, well, we don't rock with you guys. You got Mexicans or Latinos getting upset with black people for not showing up for No King's Day, and you got black people saying like, you guys are illegal or you guys messed up the election anyways. You got whoish folks just quiet. Nobody's asking them to vote for anybody or show up or do anything. You know who I do see is a bunch of white liberals showing up with all their funny masks or funny signs and their weirdo masks and everything. Like, I think it's actually good that the woke coalition has crumbled, and we'll probably see a new party, a new Democratic Party come 2028. But the thing is that I don't think that party will ever win because they are moving way closer to extremism and this whole progressivism nonsense. That ain't gonna win you votes. That is not going to win you votes with like the Obamas and the I'm trying to think of some other folks that rock with like Obama, but that's not going to win you votes with those guys. Not at all. Not even close. Or the Chuck Schumer. There we go.
Yeah.
That's not going to win you votes with any of those people, the Nancy Pelosi's. That's not going to win you votes with them. You're not going to win you're never going to win an election. So I don't want to like, say that JD has it in the bag though, because never say never. The Democrats have shown that they'll go above and beyond and do different things, suspicious things when it comes to election results. I'll keep it at that though. But just saying, like, we're going to see a new Democratic Party come 2020. And the Republicans, honestly, the Republican Party has to win, because if they don't win, the Democrats are going to undo everything Trump did, including letting illegals back into the United States.
See, I disagree, TR. I don't think we're going to see a new Democratic Party. They're still to this day showing that they don't get it. You're going to invest $20 million to speak with men. Meanwhile, what the Republicans did to steal the youth vote and the male vote away from you is they went to where the people were. They didn't drop $20 million to go meet in hotels and discuss strategy. You had people like Charlie Kirk, you had people like Officer Tatum, you had people like Candace Owens that were going to college campuses and letting people that had smoke for their takes get on the mic and call out what their problems they had, and they would respond to those people and educate them and have conversations. While the Dems just sat back, they assumed they had everything in the bag. They paid a whole bunch of celebrities in their circle. They probably went to Diddy parties, and it didn't work.
Definitely. They went to
Y'all got the masculinity up out of y'all party and then had the nerve to be offended that y'all didn't win the election.
Look, if AOC gets the nomination, that is remember we had this conversation. That is the change of the party. If they give the nomination to AOC or Jasmine Ratchet, that's the change in the party that I'm referring to. So, and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they are holding on to dear life to their own spots. And I mean, midterms are coming up though. I think a lot of those, establishment Democrats are going to lose their seats to the progressives.
AOC. So Trump won AOC's district. So I don't think she has a clue on the post. She's not reading the room right now. I don't know enough about Jasmine Crockett outside of her arguing with Margie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace. That's the extent of what I know about her so far. I'm trying to learn her a little bit more. But AOC, no way.
She's crazy.
There's no way they'll push her to the front of the ticket. No way.
Hey, but this is the thing. They have no masculinity. That's why they're going to get pushed to the front of the ticket. You got Bernie Sanders campaigning for AOC, and AOC stabbed him in her back, stabbed him in his back.
Well, they're pushing Hakeem Jeffries right now.
No, Hakeem Jeffries ain't gonna. I looked that up. Hakeem Jeffries is he's the House Speaker, or no, not House Speaker. He's the Minority Speaker.
The Minority Speaker, yeah.
Yeah. No minority speaker has ever went on to win the presidential spot. I think that's just a dead spot. Nobody ever goes on past that. So I don't think it's going to be Hakeem.
At this point, TR, I'm not even convinced that, and I've said this before, I like JD Vance. I've openly said that I like him, but I don't even think he's a guarantee to beat the person on the ticket. I don't think so. But
yeah,
we'll see.
There's a couple of people though, but yeah, it'll be interesting in 2028. Let me see if I think there's one more spot I need to find.
In America, and they're the foreigners come to them, and you have to them again for being a
there. It is.
I right can. There. You're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house, and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can.
This is why it went viral.
Keep things clean. And to make my bed
and
do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever.
Facts.
Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Arnold, don't.
Hey, so I'm so glad he said that. I'll tell you what.
Hey,
you go first. You go first.
Arnold emptied a clip, full Terminator mode. I made him the thumbnail, full Terminator mode. They just need to play that clip. They just need, when Donald Trump is doing, JD, when he's doing more ads, that's all he needs to do. Just play that clip. hey, this is what if you want to be in this, you want to be in this country, you want to come over the right way, follow what Arnold just said, even though Arnold doesn't like the Republicans. But the point is, this is all common sense stuff. That's the funny part. There's no pick this side or this side, or this is all common sense. Just pay. He didn't say nothing about payback taxes, but he should have.
So, do you remember the sassy trucker, the one that went to Dubai and got detained?
Hell no, sassy trucker. What are you talking about?
There was a black woman who made a she was a viral sensation on social media. She
Oh
was a
yeah,
trucker.
okay. She was
She
called
she went
sassy.
to she went to Dubai and she got arrested because she tried to take some of that American energy to another country.
Oh
Dubai
yeah,
has
yeah.
very strict country, has very strict laws and rules. There's Americanized pieces of it, but ultimately at the end of the day, you can't raise your voice, you can't swear, physical contact. There's those types of things to be made. You can't even bring aspirin, like basic aspirin over there. Like their drug laws are way more strict than what's in the United States. And
Sheesh.
this ties to what Arnold Schwarzenegger said because you cannot go on a visiting team's court with home team rules. They don't care what your rules are when you are in their house, you're under their rules. They don't care about your rules when you're at home. You're in my house. Abide by my rules. Anybody who I invite into my house has to respect my rules. I'm the head of this house. I set the tone, and it's the exact same thing with people that want to come to the States. There's laws you gotta follow.
Yeah,
Period.
I
And if you don't
agree.
want to follow them, then don't go.
Yeah, and you saw how Sunny and how the view was like glitching. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't talk about this in prep. We didn't say like, hey, this was all kosher. We
Oh,
thought
they
we were
wanted to
being fine.
pander. They wanted to pander.
Yeah.
Arnold said, "I ain't got your pander."
Yeah, Arnold was like, hey, I did it the right way, and that's the best example. Arnold did it the right way. So for a lot of these people talking about you can't do it the right, here's the thing. Okay, this is what I don't understand. Look, you knew most of these folks knew that Trump was gonna start deporting people, and maybe they didn't believe him, maybe they didn't think he would do it as quickly, but the point is they knew it was going to be a thing. And so I don't understand, in the last 4 years, why didn't you guys go through the process? Because we're not talking about people that were like trying to meet or trying to go, that were already in the process. Some of these people didn't even think about going through the process. They didn't even care to go through the process. And now you're paying all this money for an attorney. Now you might get deported if your asylum claim is denied. And you got all these Democrats crashing out, trying to act like, hey, we care about the illegals, but you don't care about your own constituents, your own voters, your own taxpayers. But it's a conversation for another day. So you got all these illegals doing all this wild stuff, and we've had so much crime from many of these illegals. And so it's never good when you see that a lot of these crimes or some of the things committed by illegals, where they're getting all these tax based services, food stamps and housing assistance, and then you got them committing crimes. So they're not going to win. You're not going to be able to win on something like this. And I want to say this is a losing argument for the Democrats, though. They don't change their tune by 2028, though. But again, like I said, you can never say never. The way the politics games is going.
Yeah, especially for the dreamers. I really feel for the dreamers. I really do.
Yeah. All right, we are going to shift away from politics. We're going to go to, let's see.